The epic journey of the Turks, from nomads to guardians of Islam, once believed by many to be just another Mediterranean European nation. The true origins of the Turks stretch far beyond familiar landscapes of Anatolia. Their story begins not by the sea, but in the endless, sun-baked grasslands of Central Asia, in a vast expanse known as the Great Steppe. It was the 5th century. Scattered across the windswept plains, the Turks were a confederation of small, fierce, nomadic tribes. Much like the Arabs before Islam, they wandered from place to place, surviving through tribal alliances and bitter wars. But change was coming. To the east, the Mongols were rising, uniting under a growing power that would eventually shake the world. As this looming threat advanced, the Turks began a monumental westward migration, setting off across the Great Steppe in search of new lands and safety. The steppe was wide, flat, and sparsely populated, and as the Turks moved westward, they found little resistance. Their numbers grew, their influence expanded, and before long, they had consolidated their territory into the First Turkic Empire. Meanwhile, to the south, the Muslims had emerged from the Arabian Peninsula, spreading swiftly across deserts and mountains. In time, their borders reached the very edges of the Turkic lands. To the east, the Chinese Empire was also expanding, pushing toward Muslim territories. The Turks, caught between these two giants, were forced to choose a side. Then came the fateful moment, the Battle of Talas. A small group of Turkish warriors joined the Muslims in a pivotal conflict against the Chinese. It wasn't just a battle, it was the beginning of a transformation. The Muslims emerged victorious, and some of the Turks, awed by their bravery and faith, accepted Islam for the first time. This moment would ignite a flame that would eventually sweep across the Turkic world. Centuries passed. A merchant from Bukhara, yes, the same Bukhara where the legendary Imam Bukhari was born, journeyed through Central Asia. Needing a place for Muslims to pray, he humbly requested permission from a local Turkish ruler to build a masjid. Not only was the request granted, but the ruler also donated funds to support its construction. And then destiny took another turn. Among the local youth who noticed the masjid was a 12-year-old boy named Sadik. Curious about these strangers and their faith, he stepped into the masjid. He watched as they prayed 5 times a day with devotion and discipline. Something stirred within him. He asked questions. He listened, and then quietly he embraced Islam but told no one. For this boy was no ordinary child. He was a nephew of the ruler, next in line to the throne. He knew that if he played his cards wisely, he could one day bring his entire people to Islam. And so he did. When Sadik came to power, he became the first Muslim Turkish sultan. His capital, located in the city of Kashgar, today home to the Uyghurs of China, became a beacon of Islamic civilization. In 934, Sultan Sadik officially converted his entire empire from Tengriism to Islam. As recorded by Muslim traveler Ibn Fadlan, over 200,000 tents of Turks, representing perhaps 500,000 souls, accepted Islam. This empire became known as the Karakanate Empire, the first Muslim Turkish state. Its descendants would go on to become the Uzbeks of Uzbekistan, the Uyghurs of China, and the Hazaras of Afghanistan. But the ripple effects didn't end there. In an effort to defeat the Karakanids, their neighbors, the Samanids, a Persian Muslim dynasty, made an alliance with another Turkic tribe. Sultan Ismail Samani married off his daughter to a powerful Turkish chieftain. This alliance not only settled territorial disputes, it brought an entire tribe to Islam. These were the Oghuz Turks, ancestors of the Turkmen of Turkmenistan, the Azeris of Azerbaijan, the Kashgar of Iran, and most famously, the Anatolian Turks of modern-day Turkey. But what about Kazakhstan, the largest Turkic nation today? The Kazakhs descend from the Kipchak Turks, who once ruled a mighty empire stretching from Hungary to Mongolia. Then came the Mongols. Again, their empire shattered under Mongol pressure, and the Kipchak lands were absorbed into the Mongol realm. But history has a habit of repeating itself. In 1313, the Mongol ruler Uzbeg Khan embraced Islam, just like young Sadik centuries earlier. As Sultan of the Golden Horde, Uzbeg Khan began spreading Islam among his people. Before long, Both Mongols and Kipchak Turks had accepted the faith. These Kipchaks would later form the Kazakhs, the Tatars of Russian Europe, and the Kyrgyz people. As time marched on, these Turkic and Mongol Muslims built some of the greatest empires in Islamic history: the Ottoman Empire, the Seljuk Empire, the Zengid dynasty, under which Salahuddin Ayyubi rose, the Mamluks of Egypt, the Khwarezmian Empire, the Nogai horde, the Mughal Empire of India, the Tughlaq dynasty, the Crimean Khanate, and even in modern times, their legacy continues. Muslim Turks built the first masjid in New York City, and the Lipka Tatars of Poland still preserve their Islamic heritage. Kukum Khan and his Turkish warriors spread Islam deep into Siberia, even while battling the Russian Empire. The Turks are not one people, but a constellation of hundreds of tribes and nations scattered across the earth, speaking different languages, wearing different clothes, and preserving unique cultures. But they share one thing: a bond of faith that ties them together as brothers in Islam. From the steppes of Central Asia to the heart of Europe, from the Himalayan foothills to the Bosphorus, from the Silk Road to Siberia, their story is our story. And alhamdulillah, they became part of the Ummah.